Scottish football is on fire. The Old Firm investigation has been delayed. What are the authorities hiding? Kyogo's exit has left a massive hole at Celtic. Was it a huge mistake? A Rangers player has disrespected Celtic on social media. This one is getting ugly. Lennon Miller says he could be Scotland's best player, but McGinn isn't impressed. And Hibs have secured a top 6 spot. But are they really the third force in Scotland? Those were just the headlines. Stick around for the full story and even more Scottish football updates. The Old Firm never fails to deliver chaos, and this one was no different. Rangers ended a 5-year drought at Celtic Park with a dramatic 3-2 victory, sealed by a last-gasp strike from Hamza Egamane. But of course, the real drama is happening off the pitch, because Scottish football never does things the easy way. Daizen Maeda and Rio Hatate had cancelled out Rangers' early 2-goal lead, courtesy of Nico Raskin and Mohamed Diomande. But the real headline? Vaclav Cerny and the Watergate scandal. The winger allegedly squirted water in the direction of Celtic fans, and now he's staring down the barrel of an 8-game ban. Yep, 8 games for water. Now, because the police are involved, the Scottish FA have had to put their investigation on hold while every possible angle of the crime is examined. That means security footage, broadcast recordings, probably someone's granny's mobile phone video as well. Meanwhile, Diomande is also in hot water for the way he celebrated at Celtic Park, because apparently you can't have fun after scoring a huge goal anymore. Rangers fans won't care much about fines. It's all about that massive win. But losing Cerny for any length of time could be a real blow. So here's the big question for you lot. If spraying water can get you banned for 8 games, what about all the players who taunt opposition fans with celebrations or gestures? Are the authorities losing the plot? Or is this just justice being served? Kyogo Furuhashi leaving Celtic? Now that was a shock transfer if ever there was. 1. The man was banging in goals for fun, had cemented himself as a fan favorite, and then poof off to Rennes in January to join a side fighting relegation in France. Talk about a plot twist. With 85 goals for the Hoops, Kyogo was so clinical that many were calling him the best striker since Henrik Larsson. That's a massive pair of boots to fill. And here's the kicker: Celtic didn't even sign a replacement. No wonder some fans were pulling their hair out. But somehow it's worked out, at least for now. Daizen Maeda has stepped up in a big way, making that central role his own. And to be fair to the guy, he's not taking all the credit. He's been clear that the whole squad had to raise their game after Kyogo left. And with Celtic in red-hot form and chasing the domestic treble, you'd have to say they've done just that. Did Kyogo make a massive mistake leaving a dominant Celtic side for a relegation battle in France? Or was he right to take on a new challenge? Let's hear it in the comment. Well, if you thought the drama ended at the final whistle, think again. Rangers may have left Celtic Park with a 3-2 win, but Dujan Sterling decided that wasn't enough. He had to throw some fuel on the fire with a cheeky social media post. Now, let's be real, players taking digs at their rivals is nothing new. But calling Celtic Park a S, that's bold, especially when your team is still 13 points behind in the league. You'd think a bit of humility would be in order, but no, Sterling went full WWE villain mode. Naturally, this has got Celtic fans absolutely raging. And let's be honest, this is the kind of stuff that fuels the next derby. As if Brendan Rodgers' squad needed any more motivation to put Rangers in their place next time. Should players show more professionalism, or is this exactly what makes football rivalries so special? Fire away. Lennon Miller might have all the confidence in the world, but has he just talked himself into a massive spotlight of pressure? The 18-year-old Motherwell midfielder has been called up for Scotland's Nations League playoff doubleheader against Greece, and instead of keeping his head down and easing into the squad, he came out with a huge statement. He reckons he could be the best player in the squad within a couple of months. Now, let's break this down. It's one thing to back yourself, but Scotland's squad is packed with Premier League and Champions League level players. Guys like John McGinn, Scott McTominay, Andy Robertson, and Kieran Tierney. To come in as a teenager and say you'll be better than all of them soon? That's a bold claim. Scotland assistant coach John Carver has already suggested Miller needs a little bit of guidance, which is a nice way of saying maybe keep that one to yourself, son. Meanwhile, McGinn has been through this himself. Back when he got his first Scotland call-up, he was playing in the second tier with Hibs, and Charlie Adam publicly questioned why championship players were getting picked. That didn't exactly help his nerves, and his first training session was a rough one. Sean Maloney turned him inside out, and McGinn admitted he went back to his room thinking he couldn't compete at that level. But here's the difference: McGinn kept his head down, worked hard, and proved himself on the pitch. He didn't come in talking about how he'd soon be the best. Now, with 73 caps and a captaincy at Aston Villa, he's earned his place as one of Scotland's most important players. So that brings us back to Miller. Does he actually have the talent to back up his words? By all accounts, he's an exciting young player, and McGinn himself has said he's looking forward to seeing what he can do. But when you talk big, you need to deliver even bigger, because if he struggles in training or doesn't impress when given a chance, this comment is going to come back to haunt him fast. Now, here's one for you. Is Miller just showing confidence, or has he made a massive mistake by putting this kind of pressure on himself? Will he prove his words right, or is this a classic case of overhype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Well, Hibs have only gone and done it. With 3 games to spare, David Gray's men have locked in a top 6 finish for the season. And sure, they only managed to draw against Kilmarnock, but results elsewhere meant that was all they needed. Mathematically impossible to drop lower than 6th? That's got to feel. Now, getting into the top 6 is one thing, but finishing 3rd? That's the real prize. And the best part? They've done it before Hearts, Aberdeen, and Dundee United. Oh, you just know that's going to sting in certain parts of Scotland. With the way the fixtures have fallen, it was almost inevitable that Hibs would squeeze in. But credit where it's due, their form in recent months deserves this reward. The challenge now? Stay ahead of the pack and push for that coveted European spot. So, here's one for the comments. Are Hibs actually the 3rd best team in Scotland right now? Or have they just taken advantage of inconsistency from the usual challengers? Let's hear it. Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football. So if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.